How's it, aloha gang, and welcome back to Hide Now Daily. The Military and Community Relations Office is dedicated to building bridges between Hawaii's military and local communities. Now, through engagement, education, and transparent communication with the military, MACRO is committed to promoting and preserving the cultural, economic, and environmental foundations of Hawaii. So to tell us a little bit more about the initiative that's currently taking place is Christy Martin from the University of Hawaii at Manoa and Nicole Olmsted, Navy Region here in Hawaii. Welcome into the show, you two.
Mahalo.
Hi.
Thank you very much for being here. So I do want to, very first question, I want to get into a little bit about what's being seen currently at Pearl Harbor. And for people who aren't maybe familiar with octocoral and why that's so harmful.
Yeah, so the octocoral is a soft coral. It's a popular aquarium species, and it's known as the pulse coral. And while it might look really good in an aquarium, it's very harmful in the marine environment here in Hawaii.
Gotcha. And so do we know, like, how did the octocoral end up over here in Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, so we didn't know at first, but the Navy follows strict biosecurity laws and policies, and it's a popular aquarium species. And so when we started doing surveys of where it was located, we actually found 4 other very popular aquaria species all in the same area. So the experts believe that it's an aquarium release.
Gotcha. So what's currently being done in terms of the octocoral and how it's being removed right now?
Yeah, so the octocoral grows fast and it can fragment, so it can unattach and then attach to native coral species and overtake these native corals. And so we really want to remove them. So the Navy tested a couple different options. One was manual removal, and the other is using heavy-duty tarps with sandbags to smother the octocoral. And the octocoral can create a dense mat on the ocean floor. So we really want to protect Hawaii's reefs by getting rid of this species.
Absolutely, very important. And then how long, I'm curious as well, like what is the timetable for something like that? Is that like a very long, strenuous process, I imagine?
Yes, so we're in the very beginning stages of the long-term removal. It could take years for us to be able to accomplish this with the manual removal, and then the tarps, we leave them down for a little over a week. Some species take longer, so it's a big effort with divers and working with contractors to accomplish that.
Speaking of, it's what we say here in Hawaii, right? Laulima, many working hands coming together. Let's talk about the partnership between the agencies and how it's been.
Yeah, well, pulse coral, and it's called that because it does this unusual pulsing at the very ends of its tentacles. You know, it's not a common species in Hawaii. Hawaii doesn't have very many octocorals, and a lot of people were unfamiliar with it. And so the U.S. military contractors and staff weren't familiar with ways to control it. So, but there are experts in the state. Our role with the University of Hawaii is bring together these experts to help advise the Navy on what could work. So it's been a good partnership where we've been able to advise, problem solve, extend capacities. This is a very big issue, and it is very serious. It kills coral reefs.
I was just going to ask as well, if like untreated, how potentially harmful is octocoral in terms of what can happen?
We see it in Venezuela. It was introduced to Venezuela as an aquarium species, released there, and it now covers more than 80% of certain reefs. And when I say covers, I mean carpets. And it kills the coral and all of the species that rely on it. And we are such ocean people here. If you can imagine that spreading across the state, we absolutely need to work our hardest and together to try to eradicate it where it is.
Absolutely. Now, how do us in the public, how do we get involved? How do we continue to support the collaboration taking place and make sure that that doesn't happen?
Yeah, well, honestly, it's very likely to be a marine aquarium release, and it's helpful for people to realize that it is illegal to import or possess these species. So folks that, you know, have marine aquariums, please follow state laws. They're there for a reason. If you have an illegal species, like if you happen to have some pulse coral in your tank, maybe you didn't know, maybe you did, turn it in. The state has an amnesty program. You can do that by calling 643-PEST, 643-7378. Turn it in without fear of prosecution. And if you know of somebody with the tank with this stuff in it, you can call in a tip to that line.
Gotcha.
Let's all do our part.
Absolutely.
And we also want to thank the community. Because it fragments so easily, we closed kayaking and fishing, so recreational usage, because we don't want to have that fragmentation and that spread. So thanking the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam community for observing the restrictions.
Gotcha. Well, Nicole, Christy, thank you so much. It's very important information. And for more info as well, head to our website, hinowdaily.com. We'll be right back. Thank you.